This was also the week where we have seen much more from the Supreme Court since their decision on Dobbs and sort of preceding it. And so just a reminder of the hell we're in. We have Supreme Court ruling that they throwing out gun laws, basically, in terms of like states being able to decide that they don't want open carry laws, like in New York. Supreme Court ruling in favor of a coach that would pray real hard and loud in a public, I believe, college. And so school, prayer in school, A-OK. Supreme Court obviously overturning Roe v. Wade. And this one was this week, stripping the federal government of the ability to do anything about pollution, air, water quality, basically rendering the EPA toothless, which honestly, to me, is at the same level of sort of our basic human rights as abortion rights. And the fact is like the Biden administration on it does not have a fucking answer for what just happened to the EPA either. Nothing, just like so flat-footed. But you know, I said it earlier this week, I'll say it again. Steve Bannon just put on another layer of shirt. Like that dude, when like shit goes his way, you know, he just puts on another LL Bean, you know, like flannel, and just like, because like his whole goal was dismantling the administrative state. And here you have it. And these aren't even the rulings that have been like pro-corporate. But
the EPA one was.
Oh, of course, exactly. But in terms of like ruling in favor, like against workers' rights, etc.
Right. Yeah, we're not even there yet, and you know that's coming next. And it's like these are the dominoes that we're talking about. This like, you know, this burgeoning theocratic, freaking, you know, authoritarian state that's just being created brick by brick, and you know, dismantling 50, 70 plus years of progress. You know. And how do you do this? I can just I'm going to stop down for a second and say, like, everyone needs to give Francesca from their desk a huge round of applause, because I don't know how you do this.
Me?
Yes. I don't know how you keep. I have to stop keeping up with the news. It makes me so sad. Like, I'm mad that I read that New Yorker article about Orban. You do this every day, and I am like, already I'm too depressed to move on.
So, and we're not even covering the number of police shootings of this week.
People should appreciate Francesca for actually doing this. I don't know how you do it. You're a hero.
I just want to say, I'm great. Thanks, sweetie.
And that's why you're my wife.
I mean, you're a little biased, but that's really sweet of you.
It's not even a bias, dude. I think that's an objective fact that you're a goddamn hero, because this shit is so depressing.
No, it's really fucking, I mean, I don't know. Like, is like, so does that mean you want to move to like Italy with me or Spain?
I mean, I don't speak Spanish or Italian.
Se puede aprender.
No puede.
Sí, puedes aprender.
No puede. I think I said that right.
No puedo.
No puedo. I'm not good at conjugations.
Anyway, it's the responsible thing to do. Get the fuck out of it. No, it's not the responsible thing to do. But that being said, I did want to say that there's a little gem here that hasn't actually come down yet, but it did. The news came down this week, which is that the Supreme Court is going to hear a case on state legislatures' power to set federal election rules.
Fuck!
Huh. Gee. And so, of course, this is all leading to essentially what happened in 2020 to be there to be a legal pathway rather than, you know, having to go the way of the January 6th insurrection. So what does this have to do with, very briefly, it involves independent state legislature theory. Again, a very far fringe right-wing theory, but mind you, two of the Supreme Court justices also helped Bush steal an election in the year 2000. So there you go. It was invoked by Chief Justice William Rehnquist's concurring opinion in Bush v. Gore. There you go, in the year 2000, and raised by former President Donald Trump and the Republicans during the 2020 presidential election. Under the theory, the Constitution grants state legislatures the sole authority to regulate federal elections in their states without oversights from states' courts. Now, remember, this stems from North Carolina, and they have a giant history of gerrymandering this way and that way, and then it gets struck down. And their Supreme Court has had a say in basically staving off the worst impulses and the worst anti-democratic movements of their Republican state legislatures. What they're doing in North Carolina and what they're doing around the country is they're politicizing, just like they're doing at the federal level, politicizing the justices on their Supreme Courts.
Yep.
So they're essentially flooding it with dark money, as we saw, obviously, on the federal level. But they're flooding them with dark money, making sure that also if they can't fully buy these Supreme Courts and the court to enact their anti-democratic voting laws, they can then fully take the control of those voting laws out of the hands, or out of at least the purview or the oversight of those courts. And you kick them to the state legislature. Does that make sense? Because they had been fighting before, right? They were being kept in check by the judiciary, and they no longer will be. And the fallout. So North Carolina Republicans' argument, known as blah 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 blah. We went over this. The consequences, if they succeed, would be far-reaching and devastating. The first domino to fall would be that the state judiciary would have no say in the congressional redistricting process in North Carolina, in this example, and theoretically any other state, no matter how egregious the gerrymander. Voters denied equal representation and fair system would have nowhere to turn, not federal courts, because of Roberts' ruling in Rucho, which basically says that gerrymandering exists, but the Supreme Court has no role in we don't play a part. That's essentially what a 2019 ruling, bullshit ruling. Not state courts, and likely not the political process itself, because politicians in Congress and the state houses could and probably would do everything possible to ensure that their one party remains in power.
Yep.
So goodbye Democrats and goodbye equal or fair or proportional representation. And it's, again, not just about Congress. This can also bleed into general elections, the Senate elections, presidential elections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're not hearing, it's before them. They want to take it up. They won't take it up, I think, until October. So there is some time that when session starts, it won't come down like next week, for example, the decision. So yeah, this is where we're headed. Completely ademocratic. If that's
anti-democratic.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, completely anti-democratic. I mean, we've been edging closer and closer to anti-democratic. I mean, essentially, I feel like we're there already. But just not having a Republican presidential candidate who's won the popular vote in however many elections now, and won in the last 20 years, and that's just going to be more and more the case on a local level and also a federal level. So things are cool. Things are cool and great.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.